What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I'm joined by some wonderful folks from the internet, Dragon Ball Online, YouTube, this little machine that we're speaking into, community. And today we're discussing the most recent news that came from Toriyama and Toritaro himself that came straight out of the Dragon Ball Volume 1, or Dragon Ball Super Volume 1 manga. Now, before I start, I just want to kind of toss out that as of right now, we have no clue which direction the series is going to go into. A lot of people are going left and right, speculating and posting stuff that's confirmed and all that stuff. We don't know anything yet. Once we know which direction the story is actually going to take, I'm sure we will all report on it. It's going to be on every single website. This is how it works out. But what I do want to toss out there is we're going to discuss one specific possibility that I personally feel like the story might go into, and then we'll talk in a, as a crew, as a council of what how we would feel about that. But actually, Geekdom, you want to say something before we jump in, didn't you?
All I want to say is if you're out there on the internet and you see either a YouTube video, a website, a tweet claiming that Trunks returning confirmed, Mira and Towa returning confirmed, or anything like that for Super, that's 100% BS. It's all being taken from a Toriyama interview where he's saying, and we'll talk about it as we go through it, Dino will explain it, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of people will take that interview and they'll run with it, and the interview quote is very cryptic, and in no way is there Super Saiyan White confirmed. It was just an idea that Toriyama thought about. That's fake. There's no guarantee that Trunks coming back as of this recording. Not saying he won't, but I'm just trying to stress that people who are claiming to know more than what's actually out there, it's BS, and the reality is we don't know yet what these cryptic statements mean, but what we do know, which I think that every single person on the line right now and every single person watching this video will unanimously agree on, is that it seems way more likely that Dragon Ball Super will continue and not end with this arc like we had feared, and that is a good thing.
Yes, so it's a good thing. Now, going back to what basically Toriyama said, to just kind of cover the quick summary in case you missed the news from all of us, which I'm sure you didn't because everybody talked about this. But the couple questions that kind of sparked the whole future Dragon Ball Super thing is the first one was, why did Toriyama choose Super Saiyan Blue? To which his response was, first I was going to have it be white, but it would clash with the quote-unquote next enemy, so I'll save it for later, which is why a lot of people think that Super Saiyan White is going to be one thing in the future. But again, it's just a thing that he has in the back of his mind, so if another transformation ever happens, it could be white, but it's not confirmed. The other thing that he wanted to say was, currently I have no plans for Goku and Vegeta surpassing Beerus and Whis, and the way he explained in the interview is, once they are surpassed, then there's really nothing else to do. So again, it makes me believe that the series is going to be going, and it also makes me believe that when he does end the Super Series, we'll probably get an epic fight between Goku, Vegeta, and Beerus and Whis, which I know a lot of us want. On top of that, that was also hinted by Whis, which is why I picked him up to train in the series in the anime.
Well, not just that, but also one thing I do fear is that, again, the power scale makes no sense, but one thing I don't want to know about fear, but that I'm a bit apprehensive about is, does this mean that the next villain, quote unquote, will not be as strong as Beerus and Whis? We don't know, but I just find it, personally, I find it very hard to swallow that Goku and Vegeta, after being in the Room of Spirit and Time for 3 years, still haven't surpassed Beerus, but that's a video for another day.
Yeah. Actually, didn't it say that them going into the chamber wasn't going to make them that much stronger because they already kind of like learned what they can learn?
They did say that, but then why'd they go in there for 3 years? Why'd they go in there for 3 years? You know what I mean? That seems like a long time, man.
I guess they just wanted to prepare for the tournament since it was in a few days anyway. They want to get as much training in as possible for Universe 6. Because they didn't know what Universe 6's team would be like. Yeah,
honestly, as far as what they can do right now to get stronger is, I feel like they did reach their peak, or they're close to their peak. And all they can really do right now to get stronger than what they already are is improve their abilities, which goes back to what Whis was trained them. Like, Whis wanted them to basically act before they think, which is quite an incredible ability to learn. And I feel like once they learn that, they can become even stronger. But as far as improving their physical bodies right now, they're probably at their peak. So that's just how I see it.
It's very possible, yes.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's an incredible amount of time.
That's a whole other video anyways. But on top of that...
we should talk about that soon, so yeah.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. I mean, Toriyama can just write...
Just strength ceiling is just incredibly high, I'll tell you. Like, like back before, like nobody probably would have thought that Saiyans could even get near close to as strong as a god, even attain the power. But now, these two can pretty much become gods. It's like, yikes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I was saying in my video too. I was like, it's funny how at the end of Dragon Ball Z, you think that nobody in the universe could beat them, and then now gods show up, and they're not on their same level, but they're up there keeping up with them. Now, going back to this video, the other thing that was brought up in an interview, which has a lot of people just kind of doing backflips in hope of a certain character returning, is Toritaro says, having read the new plot, I'm glad a certain character related to the future is getting involved. I'm a big fan. To which Toriyama responded, and this is the one that makes me really think it could actually be Trunks. Toriyama responded with, that's a pretty popular character. Hopefully the kids will be happy. Now, if this was a new character, which a lot of people all speculated, why would he or she be a popular character if they're new? So all I can really think about is that they're bringing someone back. On top of actually, it could also be Gohan as well. But then again, I don't see how Gohan is related to the future, so I don't know.
Future Gohan comes from another timeline. It's just like, just messes everything up.
I mean, let's be real. Trunks was one of the most popular characters in the series ever. Like, everybody loves him. When he first showed up with the sword, he's a badass. So that's the only possibility that I see it going. Now, going back to the whole white Super Saiyan thing, or the white hair Super Saiyan thing, if the next villain has white hair, which the one that first comes to mind is Mira, and they're talking about future-related characters, all I can really think about is we're going to be time traveling. And again, this is just a theory. This is nothing confirmed. It's just us discussing a possibility in the series. Now, if they end up doing this whole future thing where we have future Trunks come back, which would be cool, and have Mira involved, and Mira's pretty freaking powerful, and I feel like he could be someone that could go toe-to-toe with people like Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan Blue forms, only because his backstory is a lot better than what we actually saw in Xenoverse. Like, Xenoverse was based off of Dragon Ball Online, but we just like a small glimpse of it. But the real Mira, the idea of him is he's basically Cell 2.0. They traveled through time, gathering some of the greatest masters' DNAs, and he created Mira. That's what Mira is. And he gets so strong to the point where he becomes Super Mira at some point in the series, which they didn't really get into in Xenoverse, which we'll probably see in Xenoverse 2. But Super Mira is awesome. Now, if Super Mira ends up being...
And just to add another layer to what you're talking about real quick, the Dragon Ball Online story is so vast that they haven't even explored it all yet. Because Mira and Towa have a son named Fu, who's supposed to be super strong. So, I mean, there's tons of stuff that they have not explored. But that's, again, video for another day. Because that's not even finished yet.
Like, everybody always says that, like, what they don't have any, like, content that they could bring to, like even, not even just this, but, like, Xenoverse 2 as well. It's like they have a lot of stuff in Dragon Ball Online that they could bring back in Xenoverse 2. Like, even Cell X, like, that's something that they could easily bring back as a boss battle. Like, there's a lot of stuff in Dragon Ball Online.
And I think they should.
Well, what I was going to say in regards to the whole Dragon Ball Online thing, out of all the games, Toriyama has never been directly involved with helping a game, but he had a lot of creative control, and he assisted in the creation of Dragon Ball Online. So that makes me think, well, since he kind of partially helped create the Dragon Ball Online story with Mira and Towa, that's another reason why I believe it could be them. Now, the reason, with this super long intro, took 8 minutes to get to this point, the reason why I decided to get all these wonderful people into this one call is if we indeed go into the whole future time travel thing with Mira, Towa, Super Mira, Future Trunks, maybe even Supreme Kai of Time, how would you guys feel about that? So how about we start with Geekdom first?
So I feel that even though I do love the game Xenoverse and the Dragon Ball Online characters, and I know a lot of people love the game and they love Trunks, and I'm okay with all this, I don't think they should be interbreeding the video game universe with the anime manga universe. I don't want to see that because time travel in the games is different than Quinn did an entire 45-minute video about how time travel works in Dragon Ball, and if they were to use the Xenoverse time travel method, it would completely erase. It would be a tremendously huge plot hole.
Well, to actually explain what happened in a timeline in Xenoverse, because all the timelines were getting screwed up, it screwed up the actual portal. Like, time was broken because of that, not because of all the history that they changed. Because they didn't necessarily change history, but they kind of did. Does that make sense?
Well, and that's the whole point, is that the way time travel is established in the original manga is you cannot change history. You go back in time, you create a new timeline. In Xenoverse, that changes. And that's fine for a video game, because to me, Mira, Towa, Demigra, Fu...
What they were actually doing, though, in Xenoverse is they were affecting it from, like, the HQ level, in a way. Like, there's a thing called, like, you have the time scrolls, which basically say this is what happened in this time. They were rewriting that and changing the time, which was actually a big problem to the entire existence of time period. That's what happened in Xenoverse.
I'm very aware of that. I'm just saying that it's not what was in the original manga. Contradicts the entire purpose of how time travel works. Like, you can't even do that. That's a whole new thing they added for the game, and that works for a game. And that's kind of my point. Is that I feel Mira, Towa, Demigra, Cell X, the Red Pants Army, Android 19,000, all these characters from Dragon Ball Online, the Masked Saiyan, Bardock, all these characters are great for video games. I don't think they would work in Super. And here's the big thing: Toriyama has notoriously been known to never do what people expect and to never do what's already been established. He wants to take
Yes.
the series and the franchise in new directions. I do not see Toriyama rehashing a story from a video game. I don't see it. I don't see it being possible at all. If you study Toriyama, you know it's not possible.
Yeah, I partially agree with that, only because he's never done it in the past. But again, the only thing that bugs me is the fact that someone's getting brought back.
And that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. If they bring back future Trunks, if they bring back another, that's fine. But I feel that the white-haired mystery character that is supposedly going to come in is going to be a brand new villain. Or if it is Mira and Towa, they'll be different than their video game counterparts.
Hopefully. Yeah, I agree. Toasty, how you feel about this? You played the games. You know the story.
Yeah. Personally, I feel the same way as Geekdom. I think that if there is someone coming back, which obviously it seems like there is, since you read in the interview, it said popular character. If Future Trunks comes back, I do not think, though, it's going to be Mira that's going to be the white hair villain, because there have been quite a few people in Dragon Ball that, even though we didn't notice, they have white hair. Like, I mean, right before this recording, I mentioned, Supreme Kai actually does have white hair, even though he's not a villain. And then we had Baby. We have quite a few people who are new characters when they were first shown, and they have white hair. I don't think that the person with white hair is going to be someone who's returning from some other like property, like a video game or anything like that. But if it was Mira or whatever, I think it would be okay. But as long as they actually use his normal story, obviously don't give the Xenoverse story in the game. Like, a lot of people feel like that's what it is, because a lot of people's first showing and thoughts of Mira and Towa were from Xenoverse and not from Dragon Ball Online, because obviously it didn't release over here, so we didn't have that. But if they were brought in, I feel like they could be interesting characters. Like, the reason that a lot of people say that they are uninteresting is because of Xenoverse.
Because we know what they do.
They got swept away so fast for fucking Demigra that everybody thought, they thought, these characters are filler characters or they're boring characters. It's like, no, it's not it. Actually, Mira and Towa are actually pretty interesting characters, especially in the way that they came up. Yeah. And the fact that Towa is actually Deborah's sister is actually something I didn't know before a while ago, and when I actually learned about that, it was really awesome. And obviously there's a whole lot more stuff around them that could be built on in Super, but obviously if we were going to be able to get new characters and new stories and all in general, that's what I would prefer. But if we were going to get Mira, Towa, and all the other stuff in the series, I don't think I would have a huge problem with it. The only people who would really have a huge problem with it are people who would see it before they actually came out and be like, oh yeah, man, it's from Xenoverse. Yeah, that's bad. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. I mean,
it's it doesn't matter what they bring out, as long as they do it correctly. People really won't care in the end. They'll be like, oh, I like it.
I agree.
Like, if they bring them in and then they're like, and it's actually a good upbringing, like they give a great story based on these two, maybe even bring some stuff that wasn't ever touched on fully, like Fu, as you said before, and all that stuff, then people will like it because it'll be interesting Dragon Ball stuff for them to watch. But obviously before it comes out, everyone's going to be so judgmental and saying, I don't like this. I think this is stupid. I think this is going to be boring. I think it's going to be bad. It's like, you really don't know yet.
Honestly, what I feel like
that's
they should
the
do,
fan base.
What they should do is not announce it at all. And once the Champ arc ends, the next arc goes right into it. They should not say who the next villain is.
They're going to put promotional material out. I mean, you're right. They might hide it, but they're going to put promotional material out. And I just want to add... Yeah, and I just want to add one quick thing, though. I agree with everything that Toasty said. If they do bring him in, show him respect, give him a good origin, don't contradict the series, I'm okay with it. I'm just saying that as a Toriyama historian, Toriyama has never dug up stuff like this from the past. Like, he brought back Frieza because Frieza sells tickets, and, hey, he sold tickets, all right? That movie made, what, $32 million?
A lot.
I think international, like $55 million or something like that. It's just, it made a lot of money. Frieza sells tickets, but I don't think Mira, Towa... It's just not something that he would do just from my study of Toriyama. And so to me, I think it's going to be, if it is Mira, Towa, it'll be a new take on them, or it'll be a brand new villain, brand new character, and maybe Trunks is coming back. That's different, because bringing back a good guy that people already know from the manga, from the anime, is one thing, but Mira and Towa have never been the manga or the anime, and that's the difference.
Yeah. Now, I would partially agree to what Toasty was saying. Like, if they bring Towa Mira into the story, what I would just want is, number one, is to be different, and two, don't bring in Demigra. Because the thing, I love the Xenoverse story until they brought in Demigra and just completely just brushed Towa Mira aside. It's as if they had a whole different plan for them. They're like, you know what? Let's just change all this around and have Demigra be the main villain. So, if they do end up bringing them in, again, they're very interesting characters. They got a really cool backstory, and what they've done in Dragon Ball Online, on top of that, the path that Mira takes to become Super Mira is pretty freaking badass. And I would love to see that if he took that path. But at the same time, as what Toasty said, if we have new stuff as well, I'm okay with that because not understanding and knowing what's going to happen is a lot more exciting than kind of having an idea. And even though they could have a completely different story, we still kind of know which path it's going to take. It's like, oh, he's going to become Super Mira at some point. Towa's going to do this, and then Trunks will be there. It makes it less exciting, but at the same time, I will watch it. Come on, man, what you got for us?
Well, I was going to say that I'm kind of with Geekdom on the notion that it's like I don't want necessarily them to follow a video game path, but at the same time I'm open to it because I do think the Xenoverse story is very, very, very rich. So if they were to follow the video game story like Geekdom was mentioning, I don't want them to follow like that whole time travel rules. I want them to have a 150% original story.
Right.
Like basically if they use Mira and they use Towa and even if they use Demigra, I want those characters to be completely different,
Yes.
150%
Yes.
original to Dragon Ball Super. I don't want them to have anything to do with the video games. I want the video games to have their own story, and I want Dragon Ball Super to be 100% original because I don't want them to do the exact same thing that they've done to us before with Battle
Right.
of Gods.
But although
and Resurrection.
Exactly. No
Super
more
Mira-
adaptations. No
Super
more
Mira is cool.
retellings.
Super Mira's cool.
Yeah, I doubt that they'll ever like actually adapt. Plus, if Super Mira was ever going to be in there, in the anime or whatever in general, then they couldn't adapt it from Xenoverse anyway because Super Mira didn't actually happen until after Xenoverse was already out.
Right.
So if there was going to be anything with Super Mira or the new version of Towa, which everyone has kind of forgotten about, but yeah, she has a new version of her, and it's funny because in Heroes they do a whole lot of stuff. Like they even revived, I think, Dabura, and he has a new design. And it's kind of
yes, they do because that's her sister. Yeah, and that's the other thing too is that we're going to see them in Xenoverse 2 whenever that gets released. Dragon Ball Heroes still going on in Japan, of course, and they always pop up in there. Everybody's in there. So again, these characters, Mira and Towa, do have a future. I just have a weird feeling that the white-haired character is not somebody like them.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it could be somebody totally different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if there was something else I'd like to also quickly add, like another reason I think, the whole Demigra, Mira Towa story would be really rich is because of the whole backstory thing. Because, Dragon Ball has a lot of unexplored concepts. Like, for example, me and Black and Fist have talked about the Makaioshins. And basically, even though it's not directly stated, it's pretty much evident that Dabura, Towa, and even to some degree Mira and their son are to some degree Makaioshins, and I think that
No, not Dabura. Demigra is the closest one to being a Makaio.
Right, I'm
That's
saying,
the one
but I'm saying their basis. I'm not just talking their specific characters. I'm talking their basis is based off of that whole Makaio-shin theory, and that's why I was thinking that would be really good because you could bring in this whole Supreme Kai of Time, all of this whole Kai stuff, and I think it just makes the story a lot more interesting to go into these unexplored elements. But good point, Geekdom.
Yeah, I just think they should go in a new direction because it's so exciting now to see these new characters in the Universe 6 tournament, and I just think that another retelling, if it's a video game, no, something totally different. Seeing Trunks would be cool, but we'll see. We'll see what the story is.
all I'm saying is, if we get this next arc, I want to see Kabe come back, and I want him to go Super Saiyan Blue. That is everything else I wanted to say.
Yo, imagine how wild it would be. A lot of people would freak out about this because it'll be the first time we actually see him in something that's kind of official. Imagine like they fucking decide, oh yeah, we'll bring Trunks back, and like obviously if they bring it back as a time patroller because that's what it became after all that stuff happened, and like they bring in the same like Goten time patroller and they actually become adult Gotenks. That would be wild.
That'd be
Only
dope.
because it'd be the first time we actually see him in official material that isn't a video game, which would actually be good because in GT they kind of like stopped that from happening, which was very annoying to the fan base.
We want to talk about
really
what
wanted
they did
see
to
that.
them in GT. That's just a sad
In
moment.
GT they were just like, no, don't do it. It's like, why?
Either way, I don't know. I think we kind of got our point across. So now we want to turn to you guys. If you're still watching this video, it's kind of longer than usual. How would you guys feel about the stuff we discussed about, if Mira and Towa end up coming back, they reintroduce Trunks, all that stuff, and we go into the whole time travel aspect, whether it's the same thing with Xenoverse or a different story. How would you guys feel about the overall? And I guess let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And also, if there's anything else you want to add as well, any theories that you have of your own, or what do you think this could be, feel free to drop us a comment below as well. But other than that, I guess check out all the other guys who are in this video because they're doing some pretty awesome content. Toasty, Kwaman, and Geekdom. And I guess we'll see all you amazing Super Sandwiches in the comment section below.